right, so next up we have the orographic location. Is it near mountains? Is it on the windward or is it on the leeward side of the mountains? So here is where we find Quito in the mountains. All right, and as you can see here, like sometimes you can tell from here, like down on the coast here, you can tell this is the leeward side and this is the windward side of the mountains, right? But up here, it almost looks like this is the windward side because this is the side with moisture, and this is the side that's a little bit drier. Okay, so let's try something. So what I did is I looked up the prevailing winds in South America. I know Quito's right here. So it looks like the wind is coming from the east to the west. And I checked out a couple of different maps. And the wind is always sort of coming from the east. All right, so now we have to figure out, is Quito on the east side or the west side of the mountains? And it looks like Quito is just on the west side, but it's really kind of up in the mountains. Okay, so what I would say here is Quito is on the west or leeward side, but is actually in the mountains. All right, so the change in climate based on that, I would say slightly drier, but is in the mountains. Okay, and then next up we have ocean currents. Okay, and I think it gave you a nice ocean currents map right here that you can look at. So if the winds are coming from the west, we can see that there's also this warm water coming across here. Okay, so but there's cool water coming up the coast here. But the wind is coming off this cold water. So I'm going to say is cold current near coast, warm current from prevailing side. Okay, the change in climate, I'm going to say they probably cancel each other out. No effect. Okay, so we did that for Quito. Okay, so Quito is high elevation. Quito is somewhat near the ocean. And so it has a lot of mountainy stuff. So for my second city, I'm going to make sure that I find something that is different from Quito. So let's try, how about Mendoza, Argentina? Okay, so Mendoza, Argentina is also in, it's also in South America, right? We can see it's going to have a very different climate, right? So it is not actually in the mountains. I thought there was actually a city called Mendoza. Yeah, I want Mendoza, the city. Oh, I was trying to measure. So I want the city of Mendoza, if I can do that. There we go. City of Mendoza. Okay, so you can see Mendoza is not actually in the mountains, but it's right next to the mountains, right? And here the prevailing wind comes from this side, right? So I'm going to get a lot of different factors. It's also a different latitude. It's also has a different altitude. So a lot of things are different between Mendoza and Quito. And that's the point. You need to pick 3 cities with very different aspects. So they should have different climates because they have different latitudes and different altitudes and things like that. If you want to get really fancy, you could do something like, I'm going to clear that, sorry, clear measurement. You could do something like you could compare Mendoza and Santiago because Santiago is in the mountains, it's on the west side of the mountains. Mendoza is in the plains and is on the east side of the mountains. They're very close to each other, but they're going to have different climates. So that might be a fun one to compare. All right, I will talk to you all soon. Bye.